Welcome back, everyone. Today is, what is it, July 12th, so, or 13th, I don't know. It's one of those days. It's Friday. It's my first time running the excavator with its air conditioning. So we'll see how that goes, but it's a good thing because it's raining, as you can see. And as you know by now, the dozer had died but is coming back to life. It should be shipped out either today, tomorrow, or I should have it next week, but it's starting to rain. So what I'm going to do is, since I can be inside now with the windows closed, I'm going to dig up as much as I can over here in anticipation of getting the dozer back. And again, as I talked about having this the dam road curve around, so I may even come up here and grab a little bit, just try to slope this back just a little bit because I got just a little bit too much there. So I may come up here first, fix that, and work this way. But I can take this, I can take this, because there's no sense to move it from way over there when I still need to slope. And then whatever I have left over, I can load into the general, which you haven't seen yet as of, it'll be up this afternoon actually, but you haven't seen it yet, but you will have seen it by the time you watch this video. So this is going to curve around, so we're almost there. This has to be built up a little bit, so whatever else I can get. So that's all I'm going to do because it's raining. So I can't even put an outside camera, unfortunately, but what are you going to do? So, all right, I'm getting wet. Let me get in there and get to it. All right, let's try these GoPros again, but they're horrible. At least mine are horrible. So I just want to pull this back a little bit. This would be better for the Mini with my new bucket, which I didn't get yet, but it should be coming soon. After running the Yanmar, the hydraulics on that, well, obviously it's brand new, but I mean, I know why Chris likes to use that brand, because it's very fast. Try to scrape off what I can here to build myself up a little bit to drive forward, so I'm not so far downhill. I definitely took a little bit too much out from in front of this, but again, this machine is very slow. And it's not even just slow, it's I don't know how to, it's jerky, and I don't mean that the controls are fast. It's that it'll go, and then in one position it'll stop, just like the curl function on this is very slow. So I don't know, I have no idea. I would much rather do this with the Yanmar. But we shall do with what we can do with right now, because I don't have the buckets. Now it's not raining, but it's gonna be raining, so I'm not gonna worry about it. We can't have an outside camera today, that's all. I'm very happy with Stephen Neal from Neal Equipment in Pennsylvania, where I got the dozer from, because he really stepped up, did the right thing right from the beginning. I mean, there was no arguing. He wanted to do the right thing. Initially, he was just going to give me my money back, and then he called me the next day and said he was willing to put a brand new motor in or whatever it needed. So I said, no, I love the dozer, so please fix it. And so I'm anticipating that coming back. This will be harder to do, but part of the reason, and this is like editing magic, why it's nice to have an outside camera or a couple of them, is because when you want to transition from one thing to the next, you can break it up a little bit. So when you have only an I say an inside camera like this, it's harder to transition from one shot to the next. But we shall do it the best we can. I can only do what I do. I do have to get the rest of that material out of there, though, and down this end, because as I talked about, there is going to be a lot. I'm gonna fall off a cliff here, not literally, but I don't have built up underneath my track, but I'd like to have done. Wendy, I spent a lot of money. I won't say how much, but a lot. And I don't have any machine that actually does what it's supposed to do because of supply chain issues, or I don't want to say salesman screw-ups, but dealership screw-ups, or just things that happen. So I feel like I can't do anything even when I have all this stuff to do everything with. What I should do is go around with some stakes or some flags and put them in over here so I know where the curve is, but all this can come out. That does not need to be so wide. I mean, it literally can be right there. But I don't know. You try to just make it as wide as you can after seeing what some of the floods have done here, but I don't think we're going to have to worry about it because this is plenty wide enough, and this is all compacted already too. So see, this area I guess I'll leave out to where it is, but shut this off, and when I get somewhere else, I'll put it on. And it is raining again, so. This is the hardest part for me, knowing where to put this slope, what to transition around crooked. One thing when it's straight, when I'm trying to curve it, and especially doing it with this bucket that doesn't tilt. We shall see. I think my bucket cylinder is going to need to be repacked soon because I see some hydraulic oil residue in the water. And the only thing that could be leaking is that. I don't see it anywhere. And I'm not low on oil. But alright, now let's do it again. Well, it's raining. So what I'm doing is I'm trying to somewhat get this edge back to where I think it needs to be widthwise and build up, because I know that this area is not high enough. I'm not even sure that what I'm doing is high enough. But I can always add other lifts to it afterwards. So I'm trying to get it as close as I can. And try to get the slope at least remotely sloped so that it doesn't wash back down when it rains like what it's doing now. It's raining pretty good. Definitely be better, I know that much. And it's nice not to have fogged up windows when it's raining. It's not great as looking through the wet windows though. I definitely gonna have to bring the Yanmar over here. And when I get my bucket where I can tilt it and fix this part, well, fix up the slope. Because I can't really pack it in the way I'd like to, but it's definitely better than it was. I'm trying to get, I found through trial and error on the other side that you cannot dig it straight down, obviously, because it always wants to seek its own level a little bit. It will just slide back down in. So there's no need to take out too much and then have it slide back down. But well, like I said, when I'm all done with this project, I'll have it down pat. But until then, there's a lot of learning curve, and in 100 years, it isn't gonna matter. Good now, and I got to really start curving this back a little bit, and that's the hard part. Just so hard to know where to curve it. My outside light is on. Why is my outside light on? Hey, at least I know it works. There we go. Those don't work, but I gotta fix them. But they're 24 volt. Most everything you can buy reasonably is 12 volt, so that's the good thing about the General. That was converted over, so the General is all 12 volt. No more 24 volt. I think right here I can start bringing this back a little bit too. The problem is when you get half dry stuff and half wet stuff, it doesn't fall out of the bucket evenly. So you don't necessarily get an even compaction on this. The wet stuff will be much more compacted to where it needs to be, but the dry stuff will then compact later. And again, it doesn't matter for water retention, it just matters for the actual grading. But I'll have to play around with it afterwards anyway, so. Alright, I'm going to shut it off again. Once I get this part right here. Alright. I'm going to put it back on again. Well, you can see now it's really raining. So, of course, my plans changed based on what I'm doing. But I'm going to work backwards from here, and I'm trying to get enough that I can push out, because you can't see, but all the way to the tree line. That needs to be built up as well. So I'm trying to get what I can and go from there, but I'm sure it'll change again if we can get this to go constant. There we go. And if nothing else, I can use this material anyway. I'm going to need it to build it up, but as much because the dozer will be back soon, so come on, let's get it on. Come on. There we go. I'm not going any closer to that edge. Again, I told you I don't like digging over the tracks when I'm 20 feet off the water. If I go in on this angle, ain't no coming out. I'll probably over dig what I don't really want to do. Just because. The worst part is, I now have to walk back, unless I drive the excavator all the way back to the shop, with it pouring. Because I have no vehicle to drive me back. Because I started at the shop. I'm going to shut it off again. Alright, well, I'm not too much farther away, but I moved a fair amount of material. So, my new game plan is to dig as much as I can and work my way that way and backwards. I don't know if you can see, but got this just about to the right height. I still gotta work the slope, and I know I can do that. I can do that with the Yanmar. I need to, but and I know a lot of this is gonna settle. But I'm trying to get as much out of here as I've said, so. But you might still be able to see what I'm doing. I don't know. We'll see what it looks like when I edit it. But, you know, there's 2 yards worth of material right there. So every bucket is 2 yards, just about 1 3/4 to 2 yards, depending on how it heaps. So it's like 20 bucks a bucket. 15 bucks a bucket. Might as well get it. Boy, this is hard. As I said before, this is hard bottom here. You know, I've got these. Got the paddle teeth, which don't dig like regular teeth. They're good for sand, but when it's hard, a little clay mixed in with it makes it a little tougher. When it's wet, this part is because I can pack it. But I'm going to start cutting this back as well, like even all this part here. It's much easier to slope it downhill than it is to go uphill, but I'm going to fix it or tweak it after, but at least I can get most of it where it needs to be. And I've already added about 4 feet to here. I don't know, you can't really tell probably, but it'll be better. I think after this bucket I'm going to shut it off again because I don't know what you can see. But we're definitely getting in the right direction. So, all right, I'll put it on after. All right, here's an interim shot. It's not really interim. This is a couple hours afterwards, but the stupid GoPro 10, the battery doesn't even want to charge. Down to 25%, and I got it plugged in. But you could see I'm up about 4.5 feet over here. Still got a lot more. This is what I'm going to do, is start bringing all this way so I don't have to bring it from down there. We got a little lull in the rain action, but I still need to bring this over this way a little bit. But I'm getting out what I can there. I'll move this over and then I'll dig up more. But you can see I just need to curve this around. This is plenty wide enough. I mean, pretty much where those tracks are is where then it can slope down. So I do have a lot more material to get out, but like I said, I'm gonna need it. Let me just go quick out here so you can see how far it is. So you can see how high that is. So I got room for 10 more feet of water to come up. So this will be good. All right, it's starting to rain heavier, but we're almost there. We're almost there. Well, here's another little movement. It's hard to tell whether you'll be able to tell what I'm doing or not, but so far for me to see. I don't know how it's going to look on the camera. I got to move up again in a minute, but I figured it was worth checking out. This is where I need to start curving it back. I don't know if you can tell, but well, it's 5 feet right here to get over to where the diversion trail comes together over there. It's definitely close to it. This is where the tilt bucket would come in handy, especially a full-size one to go on this machine. I'll do what I can do with the Yanmar when I get it, because I'm not buying one for this. Nobody probably has any idea of how much those, even the bucket for the Yanmar costs. No idea. Probably couldn't even fathom how much that costs. Probably better off not to know. You just can't pack it and make it smooth without the tilt. At least I can. Now, some of this will wash a little bit just because, like I said, it's not really packed. And if this thing would move at the same, it gets like little hiccups in it. And that's what messes up your nice grading action with this thing. I gotta go back out on there, so. Get some good dry stuff here. Nice with the windshield closed, I don't have to worry so much about dropping something from too high. The reason I like to drop it from up high is it compacts it better, but not better if you're going to get splattered, but at least now I don't have to worry about it. Anything's too high, which this might be a little bit too high right there, but I don't want to do that. Let's go forward again. We can get out of here. I can nose it into the breach, so it's not the end of the world. I'd rather have it up on shore than under the water. Shut it off again. Let's move over a little bit. I'm not done over here yet, but I want to try to get up as much as I can out of here. I don't know how deep we are right here. Well, not too deep, but get here. Using a lot of real estate up, but you can see how far I'm digging up. So I'm still scrounging, but I should have enough. But it's not making it easy. Get it as far as I can that way, and I can either go up on top there and move it behind it, or I can wait till I move backwards farther and flip it over the other side and push it off with the dozer. I don't know. We'll see. Whichever one makes the most sense to me at the time. That same material, if you remember, this one dries out fairly quickly, so you gotta move it. You can't let it sit there for 20 minutes and then try to push it, because it won't push anymore. This will be a deep bend down here for fish and whatever else. Turtles. The beavers like the other end, except they like to block up this end. But soon they won't have to block up anything, because I'll have it all blocked up for them soon. Well, that's enough. You get the idea of what I'm doing there. Here's another little view, coming around back and moving this again to get it moving. See, I told you this stuff dries out. I get this moved back where it's got to go. Probably push a bunch of this over. This side, when I doze it, when I grade it, this one's going to grade over. This one, I do not want the water to run into the pond. I want it to run into the creek. Always the problem when you've got the pile in your way. You can't see where the bottom of it is. I don't want to make it go sideways. Move back a little bit further. much. But I'll have to knock this pile over just a hair. I think I'm pretty good. This will help me get to know where I need to start curving it back to as well. And then that'll give me more material to get out of the water. If need be, I could always narrow this part up a little bit too. This is way too wide. I mean, it doesn't need to be this wide. I was doing it for a safety factor that it would never blow open again, but I don't think we have to worry about that. Get it where closer to where it needs to go from here than me having to truck it. Leave the excavator up here, not right here, but I'm going to leave it closer to the diversion trail because it's good on fuel. I don't need to fuel it up. All I need to do is grease it, and I got everything in the Warrior. All right, here we are, end of day. Well, I say end of day. It wasn't much of a day. It was probably 2.5 hours, maybe. I didn't get started. I got a late start today, and then, yeah, maybe, yeah, 2.5 hours, I would say. So you can see I dug up over there, but what I started to do was, you know, this is what I'm trying to get, this curve. So basically, it only needs to be about as wide as where the tracks are, and then that can slope down, which probably would only come to about here. So all this I can dig up. And height-wise, I knew I wasn't high enough. Again, I haven't got the laser out yet. Not really as concerned about that right now. Like I said, I can eyeball it pretty well. So this is built up about 5 feet here. This is probably a hair too high, but again, I'm going to check it because I know I'm going to have to bring that side up a little bit, and probably to where the orange dirt is. That'll all have to be fixed and raised up, and even here. So I'll knock this down. I was saving these piles for filling in the breach, but now that I've got the general, I can just dump truckloads down over here and compact it with the dozer, and that'll be fine. And I'm going to be able to dig up all that as well to close this up. I'll dig my keyway in. That's kind of why I needed to break this beaver dam open anyway. So you can see now it's all flowing pretty well. Got rid of a lot of that junk that was sitting down at this end, so the beavers won't be too happy. And unfortunately, I left a lot of the material right here. They'll probably come back and get it again, but what are you going to do? Sorry, beavers. But with all this rain, I knew we were going to get a little bit more water flow, and I do not want it coming up over the edge over there until I can get all that dug up. So let me just walk out on here so you can see it. But all this is going to get dug up, so this is a lot of this is what I'm going to use to fill this in. But you can see I'm going to need more than what's out here. But I'll dig up as much as I can from here as well. Oh, nice poison ivy. So that'll start to drop it. You can use that little island as a reference. We'll see how it looks next time I come out. In here too, it's already dropped about 2 inches. You can see the rim, yeah, probably about 2 inches has gone out. So we got a good outflow. Hopefully we don't lose all our fish. I know there's big fish in here, but we don't need to lose any. But the way they reproduce, I'm sure they'll replenish the supply. Uh-oh. I guess I had good timing. I did see a few lightning bolts, but anyway. All right, well, that's where I'm at. Just wanted to catch up a little bit there. So here's a view on this way as well. So it's getting there. Like I said, even this is too wide. I'll bring the mini over here when I get the big bucket, and I'll pull back some of that. There's no need. This does not need to be that wide. So all right, I guess the thunder was an omen for me to get going. So again, as usual, thanks for watching. I'll catch you on the next one. All right, well, the buckets for the skid steer have arrived, along with the post hole digger. There's a 24-inch auger. There's the actual drive for it, and 4-in-1 bucket. And of course, I'm getting a phone call right when I'm trying to make a video.